Hi everybody, this is Regular Girl, and the title of this video, even if I don't write it in the notes, is How to Be a Pain in the Ass Gracefully. Because what I'm realizing is that once you become really sick and you need to rely on other people, you are going to be a pain in the ass. So really this is sort of the topic of codependence, although I hate that word. Although what it means is something I am very, very interested in. So it's narcissism. That's what codependence to me is about. It's about narcissism. Narcissism is about how we appear to others and being way too concerned about that, even above and beyond our own welfare. And that's the position that I'm in as someone who just came out of the hospital and my health deteriorated after being in the hospital. I still feel like I'm talking with marbles in my mouth. Now, a couple of people have said to me it doesn't sound like that, but that still means there's something wrong because it sounds to me like it is. And that whole phenomena happens within the brain. There's something going on. And what happened recently got tagged onto COVID, meaning I came up COVID positive, but the symptoms that I was having before it and then afterwards and are lingering on were more like the stroke symptoms that I had after I had a stroke. It's like it came back again. They were exacerbated. And as a result, I have become a pain in the ass to anybody who's around me. Meaning like I can feel and sense. I'm sitting out on my front porch now. I used to sit out here all the time. I had a regular chair that I sat in because I could do what was called furniture walking to get back inside to my motor chair, which I use for transportation because the doorways in the inside of this house are too small for me to use the motor chair inside the house. And I went to physical therapy sessions to help me keep me strong to do furniture walking. When you're in the hospital, they didn't keep up with that, and in addition, they messed with my pain medications so that I was a basket case, quite literally, when I came out. So I needed help for everything. I could not get a drink of water. I could not walk to the bathroom by myself. Plus, they do this thing, and I wanted to make a separate video about this, but I'll just go on ahead and include it. It's called the hot dog. Ladies, when they ask you if you want to use a hot dog instead of a bedpan, say no, no thanks. They're going to hook you up to this vacuum machine, and then this thing that looks like, oh, that is going to be easy. It's like a balloon. Not a balloon. It's like one of those, when you in the swimming pool, you use those tubes, those cheap tubes, cheap plastic tubes. That material that's made out of, it's made out of that. And actually, they have it painted like it's a hot dog. And some of the PAs call it a hot dog. So that's why I'm calling it the hot dog. Say no, thank you. You'll use a bedpan, even though that requires you to call a nurse. They like it too because they don't need to be called. But you know what? Lift your bump up and get underneath that bedpan and remain used to, when you get the sensation of I have to take a piss, it means something. It means, you know what? I got to get ready in other ways to take a leak. Because you do, right? When you got to take a leak, you got to get ready in other ways. I got to find a bathroom. You got to find one. First of all, you got to think about that. Then you got to get up and you got to actually go. Not with the hot dog. No. With the hot dog, you don't got to do that anymore because they tell you this too, and it's true. The suction pulls the pee out. So what starts to happen is that sensation of like you just pee a little bit. When you pee a little bit, it sucks the rest out. So behaviorally, you get used to peeing a little bit. Now, if you get those pee pads, Poise, and that's a brand name, but they got these things called, I call them pee pads now. So if you put one of those on because you don't want to ruin your nice underwear, which I did not want to ruin my nice underwear, so I put one of those on after I got out of the hospital. Well, much to my surprise, not good surprise, I started like these things were getting soaking wet because I was not doing that other thing anymore. I deal with excruciating pain all the time. So it never was fun for me to have to like think about, okay, I'm getting that sensation. I'm going to have to use the bathroom. Where? First of all, where? And then I got to do it. And it's going to be painful to move around, get up out of the chair, go inside, go down, wherever it is. It's going to be, if I'm outside, if I'm not home, is there going to be a handicap stall? What kind of a handicap stall? I got stories galore for you about the handicap stall, people. Nevertheless, on we go with the story. Hot dog, say no thanks. I'll use a bedpan. No thanks, I'll get out of the bed if I have to, rather than use the hot dog. Because behaviorally, it starts to think. I'd like to share here that I have successfully weaned myself off of the hot dog behavioral mentality. I am using the bathroom once again, and my pee pads are no longer wet. That's how I know. But it took effort. It took my consciously thinking about an effort. So once again, when they offer you the hot dog in the ER, say, no thanks, I'll use the bedpan. See, we all think bedpan, bad. Ooh, what's this hot dog thing with the suction? Sounds interesting, sounds easy. They love it, they say. Sounds easy. Ooh, you won't even have to ask. That's how they sell it right there. And you're laying there. You're not in a good place. You're in the effing ER. Things are not going well. So when somebody comes along and tells you, hey, we got a new thing making it easier, your tendency is going to be, sure, I'll try it. Is it going to hurt? Oh, gosh, no. In fact, it's going to make things easier, is what they say. And actually, the guy who first told me about it, he was real funny, real pleasant, and I liked that. I'm not saying that's wrong. He had a great bedside manner, and you need that when you're in the ER not having a good time. You need somebody like that. He was great. I would rate him a 10 plus, but I'm just letting you know what happens with the hot dog. He was not an older woman. He's never experienced it, so he doesn't know. Maybe he'll see this video and he'll change his sales pitch. Probably not, because he's a busy ER nurse. And it does help out like that. But I'm warning you all about the hot dog, because we're going forward in time, not backwards. So it's more likely that you're going to experience old age, even if you're young right now, than not. You're either going to die or experience old age and the complications that come with it. No matter how many vitamin waters you drink, no matter whether you stop smoking or not, no matter how many alcohol drinks you drink a day, you're going to experience old age or die first. That's the truth. That's mortality. That's who we are as living creatures. But let me tell you something, in terms of the eternity and that stuff is being challenged by the challenges of old age for me right now. And being a pain in the ass is probably the biggest one, because it makes me not ask for the help that I need. Many times when I ask for it, I get it. Many times people are happy to help. Not always. Sometimes I am being a pain in the ass. And you can see it. You can feel it. I can feel it. And I don't like it. I don't like that feeling. It's really uncomfortable. That feeling of not being liked. That feeling of being a burden. That feeling of being a pain in the ass. That feeling of not being wanted. Not being included. It's like you're at a table with friends. I mean, me and some friends were talking about this just the other day, about conversation and power domination, attention getting, talking too much just for the sake of getting the attention. And so the words are kind of moot. It's really about wanting attention, which probably people who make YouTubes like me, that's what we want. That's what I want. And in that domain, with my friends, I was one of the people who could fess up and say, yeah, that's me. I do that. I do that. So lots of times I'm running my mouth, and right in the middle of when I'm running my mouth with a group of people, I know I'm not really saying anything. I'm just running my mouth for the mere, it's not even for the mere sound of my voice. There's something about that I can feel all the attention on me, and I like that. I like that sensation. There are times I don't, like when the attention's on me because I'm being a pain in the ass, right? But maybe even, I don't know, I don't know. You know, Carolyn Mace wrote this really interesting book, one of my favorites of hers, called Why People Don't Heal. Why don't they heal? And it was about this attention, much as I don't like to admit it. Why do people stay sick? Do people stay sick sometimes when they don't have to? Why would that be? That sounds crazy, except when we're talking about it like I'm talking about it right now. People who are sick. I've heard people say this about their spouses who they love tremendously, that they're not walking correctly because they're doing it on purpose because they get more attention that way. In that relationship, that sick person does, right? The other person's like almost waiting on them hand and foot. At some point, the other person gets tired. But really what I wanted to talk about in this video, which I have not thus far noticed, is my own, what they call codependence, that word I don't like, but it's narcissism, really. Meaning that my concern over being called a pain in the ass or looked upon as a pain in the ass gets even in the way of my own well-being. That's when it becomes pathological or sick. It's sicker than any other sickness, I think, because it's at the root of it. It keeps me sick. When on one hand, I'm saying I don't want to be. I'm saying that, you know, but if I take a look at this, so I'm going to start, I always think that like shining the light in the darkness makes sense. Come on, we're shining. But first thing that happens, I used to say this because I did house cleaning, quite a bit of it. If you come into a place that hasn't been cleaned in years and it's been all closed up, you open up the window, first thing that happens is a dust starts flying all over the place. So initially, you can't even see anything. Initially, things are worse because you've opened up the windows. That's what's probably going on with me. It's like somebody came in here into my psyche and has opened up the mother effing windows. I have never used the word mother effing more than I have in these last 2 weeks of my life. I don't know what that's about, but I have to use effing almost every sentence 3 or 4 times. So, I am a pain in the ass sometimes. So I guess this process, this part of my life is about getting okay with that, embracing it, saying, hey, I am a pain in the ass, just like everybody else is sometimes. You know how many times I've called other people a pain in the ass or felt like it? More times than I would like to admit. Because taking care of somebody else, just even thinking about other people's needs, it's not my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do is making sure that my needs are taken care of first. I think that's normal. But I have met, and I noticed it mostly because I'm sick. In that way, me being sick has been a gift. I've been able to see things that I've never been able to see before that I don't think I would have ever been able to see. And it has to do with compassion. Like I notice people who notice. I notice people who notice now. I'm amazed by it. There are actually people who will, out of blue, sometimes strangers, they're taking my needs into consideration. Now, I am such a selfish person that sometimes that has interfered with something. I have interpreted that as, what do I call it? Intrusive. I have interpreted it as intrusive. When someone has been caring about me, like if they maybe see my shirt is falling out or something and they reach to fix it for me, I've gotten upset with them. Like, why are you being so intrusive? Here's my friend. I have a friend who's texting me, asking me if there's something I need, something I want to do. These kinds of things. So anyway, I think maybe I've said enough. If I haven't, I want to say this. So I like doing this thing. If I get a certain amount of subscribers, I can do live stream YouTubes. I would like to do that. What will I say in the live streams? I have no idea. But I will talk about something different every day. Maybe it's a episode of Mad Men that I watched last night, if I'm watching Mad Men. Maybe it's something interesting that happened. Maybe it's a book I'm reading. Maybe it's a book somebody sent me. Maybe it's a YouTube that I watched that's provocative. But that's what I'm going to do. That's what I would like to do. So I'm going to start a new channel, and I would like you to subscribe, please. I want to get enough subscribers so that I can live stream. That's what I'm asking for, in my vulnerability of being a pain in the ass. I wonder what the tarot card is for being a pain in the ass. There's got to be one. I'm gonna do a YouTube on that. Do you guys know I used to read cards? I did. Thought, why don't I do that in the 80s? I studied astrology. I would never consider myself a professional astrologer, but I love it. I listen to Robert Phoenix every week. I love it. Take notes, if I could. Sometimes I do take notes, a few of them. Point is, I haven't even talked about that yet. You see, I think I have a lot to talk about. Please subscribe. Thank you.